For this episode of Shift Happens Catalyst Conversations, I have with me somebody who might as well be me in some ways, because whenever I say my name, they write her name. I'm Celia, she's Celia, but my name is so weird for most people that this is just spelled like hers. So anyway, I guess this was a connection that was meant to happen. And Celia here, I would say she's all about transformation, finding a purpose for herself, for the people that she works with. And today, we will talk about transformation, I feel, on a very deep level. So, Celia, this is a podcast about transformation and big shifts and starting big changes. Have you had any kind of big transformation in your life that you would like to share right now with the audience?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. Finally, we made it happen. I love this topic because transformation is such a essential part of life, just like nature transforms, all the seasons and everything. Yet it's something that many times we've been a little bit trained to fear. Like we always want life to stay the same, right? But I've definitely experienced like lots of deaths and rebirths in my life. And I think one of the biggest transformations was the moment where I finally accepted that I was not going to fit in to society.
Oh, yeah, this sounds very familiar. And I guess that's also about our unique human designs. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit as well, because we are not supposed to fit in, neither of us.
Yeah, exactly. And I tried most of my life, I really, really tried. And like, I'm a very determined person. So when I want something, I go all in. But that also then teaches me when it doesn't work, because then when it really doesn't work, it's like, okay, bam, in your face, right? And that's what happened to me when I was around 18 or so. I mean, most of my younger teens, I struggled a lot with like mental issues, eating disorders, just like feeling utterly not good. And then when I was 18, I had like suicidal depression. And I was just like psychically so worn out because I had really pushed myself very hard to try and fit in and be like what they told me to be: a good student, a good daughter, be well dressed, have good friends, party in the weekends, all this stuff that most people do. And it just hit me in the face that I just couldn't do. I couldn't maintain this kind of lifestyle and I burned out completely. And because of that, I was left with this feeling of, wow, like this is never going to work for me. Like, I'm just not gonna be able to sustain this, and because I didn't know any other way, I was like, "What's the purpose of living?" Because I'm just not gonna fit in, So it was, like, just my way of being like, "Well, it's not gonna work out," and I just super interesting when talking about this now because I just had a little bit of a similar feeling recently, not the suicidal depression, but that feeling of, again, like, "Damn, like, I'm not gonna fit in." Like, doing the dance education, there are these structures that I haven't been part of for so many years because I've done my own life. And it's just painful, like, when it doesn't fit you.
Yeah, for me, it has always been so curious how you like going to the dance classes, going doing many, many hours of dance every week, because I see you going and coming, and I'm like, why is she doing this to herself and like pushing yourself to be back at school, kind of, because I think you also have exams.
Yeah, I do it because I love it. And again, I'm the kind of person, like, I have a strong inner fire. I can really do things when I want to, but I have to manage not hurting myself in the process. But anyway, so when I was 18, I had the suicide depression, and that was like a huge, I like to call it the point of initiation for me, because when I survived like the suicide attempt, that's when I kind of realized I have to change something. Obviously I couldn't continue the way I was doing, and it was kind of like it opened, or it felt like it just like opened a new path, because suddenly I just surrendered everything that I had had before. It was really like a death, even though it wasn't physical death. And I started to ask more questions. I started to trust myself more. I started to make changes that society weren't necessarily approving of. Like, I changed my lifestyle very drastically. That actually helped cure my depression. Like, when I went raw vegan, and suddenly within 3 days, my depression was completely gone.
Wow, so fast.
Super fast. And I had been on pills for 6 months. I had seen a therapist every week. I had a support person that came to see me. And none of that has really done much. And then I changed my diet. And in 3 days, I'm like so happy for no reason. And you get that starter process like, okay, what else have I not been told that actually could really change my life? So that's when my whole paradigm just blew apart. And I just started questioning everything. And that's when I decided I'm not going to take an education because actually I don't like the system. And shortly after that, I met my partner. At the time, I knew he was my soulmate.
Wow.
And I just saw his photo and I was like, that's my soulmate, you know, and I'd never even believed in the term soulmates. And thankfully, we're very similar in the sense that we don't really like the structures of society and how things are working. So I went to live with him in Spain and I just took a distance from my family because I need to heal a lot of patterns that were there. And many, many years of just like trying to figure out, okay, I don't fit in, obviously, and I'm not going to even try because I'm not going to be happy. So what am I here to do? Like, that was my big question. Like, what's really my purpose?
So many things already kind of clicked into place for you when you were just 18. So many people don't know anything, of course. When you are 18, it feels like, oh, I know everything about everything. But when you get older, even 25, 30, it's like, I didn't know anything when I was 18. But you already knew, okay, this is my soulmate. I'm not going to fit in. I'm not going to get the education and just go to Spain and, I don't know, live in the mountains.
Yeah,
I guess that's what you did.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, I didn't know anything, you know, like you say, but I think the main thing was just that I started to just trust more myself rather than what everybody else was telling me that I should do. And it was hard. I'm gonna be honest because my whole family weren't supporting any of the things. I remember various arguments at the dinner tables because I was sitting there with my raw foods, you know. I was gonna die and blah, all the things that they said now, of course, are like, okay, oh, she's fine. Oh, so they start to eat more vegan food and actually they're like applying a few things. But yeah, I think I just also had that realization that I don't know anything. Let me try and ask questions and discover things. So it was like, it actually, what really felt like happened, especially when I changed my lifestyle, was like suddenly I woke up. That's what it felt like. It felt like I had been wearing a fog my whole life and suddenly it was taken away and I could see life and I could dare to think and ask questions. And that's what led me here to Spain, to that search for my purpose, because I knew I was here for a reason. I just had no clue what that reason was. And that's what led me on this whole search. So I think that's definitely the first and biggest transformation. The next step I would add would be when I found human design. That was the next big moment of transformation.
How many years have you been into human design?
Not that long, actually, just since 2021.
Okay, that's also when I first heard about it.
Really?
I was actually taking a dance course by another projector. So it was a projector who was into human design and dance. And the course was actually about 4 different archetypes, like the maiden, the girl archetype, the wild woman, and also the queen. So we had 4 different choreographies. We had 8 people in the class, 8 women, so not a very big one. We were dancing these choreographies, we were filming them, and we also had dinners together. And the first dinner that we had, she introduced us to human design. So we just took them and this everybody said, okay, yeah, manifestor, yeah, whatever. And then she just introduced us to these different energy types. That was 21.
Yeah.
September, October, something like this.
Yeah, actually, it was the exact same. Wow. Make us married the same day. That would be funny, right?
Yeah, but I didn't go very deep into this. First one, I was like, okay, yeah, manifestor, initiator, activator. Oh, yeah, whatever. Nice to know. Yeah. But it was a projector, you know. I guess that's very usual.
Yeah, like she's there to help you.
Yeah, please. He really wanted everybody to know the human design. It's like, I don't know.
Sounds like me. Like every time I meet someone, almost the first thing I ask is like, say, you know, even in the dance education, I'm like trying to, but I can see some structures I really like. I'm really being very mild with it because some people just cannot.
I would say that some people also question it in a way that, okay, do you really need to have a framework for everything? It's like, do you really want to explain everything with specific framework? Why don't you just trust yourself? And I'm like, yeah, but I interpret my design. And what I've also heard about human design, it's you can't, what do I say, you can't manipulate it. But if you take like any kind of personality test, you can kind of like, you know, manipulate the answers because you want to seem like a nicer person. So you choose and pick the answers that will make you look like a nicer person, maybe.
Yeah.
So you want to appear as somebody, but human design is your birth time, your birthplace, and you can't change this
Yeah.
because that's already like set.
That's true. So do you feel like it became a big transformation for you too? Like
When I actually went into this, yes. And I've been deep into human design the last 8 months, since July. Now it's April. Okay, it's 9 months maybe. So before that, I kind of knew, okay, I'm a manifestor. I don't have consistent energy. I like to initiate. But I started going deep 9 months ago, really like digging the layers and listening to all the human design podcasts and reading. And I was like, wow, why didn't I do it before? Like, it makes so much sense why I feel so isolated, why I always felt so isolated. I always have to initiate, as a woman, it's a little bit complicated because they say you have to initiate as a manifestor. And then you had a society who's like, women have to be passive and feminine and only men can initiate. But for me, if I don't initiate, nothing happens.
yeah, that's true.
So it's making a lot of sense now that I know it. So I'm very happy that I actually found out about it and I went deeper and deeper. And now I'm like, I want to go even deeper, and there are always so many layers coming up.
Yeah.
Did you go into human design like immediately, like deep dive?
Trying to remember actually. I think at first it was a bit like you because I was working with a coach and she gave us lots of different tests, lots and lots. So it was just one of the tests among all of them. So I didn't really at first realize that it would be anything powerful. But I remember reading the descriptions before I took the test and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a manifesting generator. That's 100% me. Wow. And then I took the test and I was like, no. And actually, I was sure my boyfriend was a projector and I was a manifesting generator, and it's the opposite. And so I was like, that's weird. Something's wrong. But I think that's started to spark the process because it happened just when I turned 30 and I'm a sixth line. So like just when I went on the roof, I had a burnout just at the same time, basically. And so I started to think, okay, maybe this is giving me some answers to some things that haven't been working out for me. And I just basically started applying my strategy and the 40 and saw huge changes super fast, especially financially speaking. It was like I just opened the floodgates and money just came straight into my life.
So as a projector, you have to be invited. Way to be invited. Not just, of course, I guess as a projector, you also know what's the best way to do things because you see all the things and you know the most efficient way and you would like to go like, but then you have to wait for the invitation.
Yeah, that part was actually not even the thing that changed the most for me. It's funny, I'm still experimenting with that part because I see sometimes the things that I have a feeling and I go forward with a little bit actually turn out to be better sometimes than invitation.
And this is also like some energetic invitation, like from the universe or something.
Yeah.
It's not always like a person saying, hey, Celia, I need specifically you for this task. It can also be, oh, universe is inviting me to be somewhere. I don't know. For me, it's different, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, I really resonate with that. Like yesterday's a good example, for instance. I was meant to go to dance actually. I was late and then it was like three of the girls were sick and I was like, you know what? I want to go to class. So I was like, I'm just gonna go to Soho and prepare a human design reading because I had a reading in the afternoon. I go there and I just had a feeling to sit on the terrace, which I never do. Sitting there 5 minutes, there's this guy that comes and sits in front of me and he's like, can I sit here in the sun? And it's actually a guy that I know like very casually. And like, I think 2 minutes he was sitting there and we were just already talking about his human design. And then suddenly we were getting into that and then like he's a sixth line and he's 48. And it happened because I had just sent a message to my manifestor client and he told me in the past he was a manifestor. So it's like, oh, that's so funny. You come sit here because I was just talking to my manifestor client. And then he was like, oh, actually I'm a manifesting generator. So he had got it wrong. And then we started talking about that. And so he never clearly invited me into anything, but like the whole situation for me was an invitation.
Because he sat there.
Yes.
And you had the invitation to also sit there before him. And
it was like it was meant to be. So I'm probably going to suggest him a reading, for instance. Like when I see sometimes those signs, I follow them. And I'm still like, it's always an experiment, I think, the whole deconditioning process. Because many times that actually works out well, but there needs to be something that invites. Like, and many times I just feel it. It's like even just the knowing that his soul agree with me that we were gonna do this thing. So,
and for you, it's like a splenic reading, because I think you're also splenic projector.
I think so. Yeah, it's very much. I just know. Like, there's not even a question about it. But the thing that changed the most for me when I found human design, And what got me to what I feel aligned with my design was starting to do a lot more energy work. Like I had just been doing action, action, action because I wanted success. So I was action, action, action. And when I discovered being a projector, I was like, maybe I need to try less and take a step back. And I started doing a lot of the deep work within myself, like clearing the blocks and all this kind of stuff. And that's when, wow, everything just changed for me. And that's also what got me to, what was it in September maybe that I found human design?
Mm.
I'm trying to remember the timeline. And I think, or no, actually it might have been that I found human design in June. I think something like that. Yeah, because then in October I launched APA for projectors at the time.
Alpha mean
Abundant Abundant Purpose Activator. Yeah, my Ayashi program. Which was a huge shift.
So you found out about human design in June, and already in October you had this abundance purpose activation academy kind of thing happening. You were already guiding people. But yeah, like they say, if you already know 5% more than the person that you're teaching, you can guide and teach.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is so powerful because like, a lot of the clients I work with, I see them feeling so much like they have to be so perfect and know so much, and I just swing back to, I felt like I knew a lot, but damn, I didn't. And yet I still help people a lot. But it was also more a process for me really surrendering to my purpose. And that's what got me to do this because it wasn't like I intellectually decided I'm going to create APA for projectors. Actually, it was a very foreign idea for me, especially knowing so little about human design. But I was just following the process that I teach in APA of surrendering to my purpose and doing those practices. And it was very clear that that's what I had to do. And then later on, I've understood why, for instance, in human design, like the projectors with a defined mental with space, which I have, are usually the ones that are here to guide other projectors a lot. And so them following makes sense. And it's just been such a magical unfolding because it's like there were already all these souls just waiting to be guided by me. And I think this is the thing for everybody's purpose. It's like there are the people out there, they're just waiting for you to step into that purpose. And then you start to activate those fractal lines or those soulmates within your lineage as well. Yeah. I don't think I can explain it in words. But
So what does it mean to guide? Does it mean that you talk to these people, you show them like some kind of videos, some courses? How does the process look like?
that's a great question. Well, the life purpose activation is a system that I created. So that's what APA is. And that's Abundant Purpose Activator. People get access to 6 chapters. And the system is really important because as a projector, what I'm also really good at is systemization. So what I do is I create something that I call it quantum stacking. It's like you put together different practices or different tools in a way that actually is going to quantum leap people ahead many, many years just by following that certain system. And I think that's what systems are for. And because I'm a projector, I like to be effective. I like to save time because then I can go and take a nap. Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, within that process, I guide my clients. And when a projector guides, what really happens is that our aura penetrates the G center of the other person. So the identity kind of, yeah, we see who they are very deeply in a way that they cannot even see. And this is our magic. That's why we can sometimes just ask a question. Like we're really good at questions that gets the other person to realize something really big. Or we just know, like many times for me as a clinic, I will know exactly this person needs this practice. Or when we have a session together in a group, I like just guide it naturally according to the field. So that's my superpower. That's where I really, I think that's the first time in my life I felt like now I belong. It was a feeling of, this feels good. This is what I'm meant to do.
I've also heard that projector's aura like is penetrating. So this can also be a little bit scary. So I grew up with a projector sister. So for me, maybe that's not so scary. And also as a manifestor, I have a closed aura bubble. Maybe can't get through. But do people find it scary? Of course, you look like an angel, like, with all these angelic vibes. But have people ever considered you as scary?
Yeah, when they meet me at 3 a.m. in the morning, La Rampla, they get so scared.
I was joking.
Yeah. I mean, scary, I don't know, but uncomfortable, absolutely. And I see this in the dance education, and it's like, ugh, they just rather avoid. They don't really want to, it's like they don't want to go there. And usually it's actually a sign for us that that's not really the right environment then, because we need to be in a place where we're recognized, and that's going to happen more on a one-to-one basis. But yeah, the people that are not ready for your magic, like imagine someone who's like does not want to see themselves. Then you meet this person and you just look into their eyes and you feel like they penetrate you, you know? It's gonna be like, oh no, thank you. So the projector will either be like super loved and recognized, or kind of like, I'm not sure, like you, kind of like.
Yeah, I've experienced something similar as a manifest of the closed aura. So even if I'm not intending to do anything, and even if I am a friendly person, usually, uh, I also feel that I'm initiating some change in people and even my long-term relationships. At some point, I was even blaming myself for this, but I initiated the relationship and I also initiated a breakup because I felt that I needed to go. I didn't back up and I was just, okay, I need to go now. And after this, both of these long-term guys, they needed like psychiatric help just because it feels like I was holding something together, or maybe during the relationship, I was initiating them into some kind of transformation, making them change. And when I left, they were completely falling apart. And some point I was like, uh-oh, I have all this power. And even all the dating that I had after my last long-term relationship, sometimes even the guys would tell me that, oh, my shadows are coming out. I'm like, what did I do? I'm just my normal self, not trying to like, okay, let's get the darkness out of you. But somehow happens.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because I remember your website and everything's about will change. Yeah. So, and that's actually a really powerful point, because this is also what kind of actually got me into realizing my purpose, was that we're already doing our purpose in many ways, unless we're super, super, super
Just by being. Yeah, doing by being.
Exactly, because it's innately in our energy structure. So one of the reasons I realized, oh, I have to help projectors, is because I discovered that most of my circle was projectors. Well, I took the test of people and they were always coming to me for guidance, you know? So I was like, okay, maybe there's something there that I need to put together a little bit. So yeah, there you see your purpose working.
Yeah. So that's why I also restructured everything and all. Okay, let's talk about catalysts and change and transformations. That's why also this podcast was born. So now I'm talking about being the catalyst and starting changes, transformations in people. And I'm talking to all the cool people around me who help people in this transformation, who guide them through. So I'm just here to initiate. But when I have initiated, I need somebody to hold their hand. Maybe you can go to Celia or somebody else, because I'm not gonna hold your hand for a year. I'm not that gonna hold your hand, get up, and chicken, yes, please go and fly or die. No, I'm not so friendly. No, but it's very manifest. I like it. I'm very independent. So I'm like, I didn't have this capacity emotionally and energetically to just hold the space. I can hold it for you very intensely for a very short time. Then it's like, okay, please go. Find somebody else. Take care of you or take care of yourself. It's like, I can't. Go.
Yeah. And that's the powerful thing with our purpose, is like embracing exactly what we're meant to do, right? Instead of trying to just fit in something. And yeah, I'm definitely like, I like to take people for really long journeys.
1 year.
Most of my clients work with me at least 8 years. I love it because I have also the intimacy channel, like 59. So I like to be very deep and intimate with people. So yeah.
So for you, when you're guiding people through transformation, it has to be like a long process.
I mean, it doesn't have to, but at least it's 3 months, because activating your purpose is not like a week video course. It's a deep transformation. And even then, like, I have one of my projectors right now. She's been 3 months and up, and she told me, like, I feel like I've just gone through 5 to 10 years of growth, you know, in 3 months. And that's really what happens in that process, because I'm very intimate. Like, I give them so much one-on-one guidance, and I'm really there in the field. And Appa kind of, how to say, like, it needs that attention, I feel. And also, yeah, just because I'm very invested into whoever works with me and who's in my space, they become like my angels under my wings, you know? So
So you also mentioned doing energy work on yourself. What does this mean? What do you actually do yourself?
what I do? What don't I do? So much. Like for me as a projector, it's essential that I take very well care of my aura. So Qigong is one thing that's very powerful. It's kind of like how would you compare it? It's like when you go to the gym to take care of your physical body, Qigong is like exercises for your aura and your energy body.
To do it with the actual physical body, because you're moving the physical body, or
Yeah,
and also visualizing some kind of energy movement at the same time.
I mean, there's so many different variations. And one that I do standing meditation is called the sword fingers. And literally you just stand up like this for 1 hour. So there's not even movement, but there's a lot of energy that moves because you have.
So you can stand like this for 1 hour.
No, I have to take my arms down to get time, but there are many people who do it. Like,
Well,
and it's because you allow eventually for the energy to run through the meridians, and then you don't actually get tired in the body.
how do you have patience with that? I'm like, nope.
Well, it teaches me patience. If I see I'm impatient, I know that I need to work. Maybe I have some karmic settlement or something there. But yeah, I do a lot of Qigong. I do all of the energy practices that I have enough. I work a lot with shamanism, so I do this for myself. Shamanism is a lot of energy work, but very grounded. So it's like we use the elements of nature. We do a lot of work with the lineages, so clearing ancestral karma, clearing karmic blocks, clearing entities in the system, like all this kind of very grounded energy work, as I like to call it. And I'm just always attuned to my aura, and I can sense it. Like, I'm needing this, I'm needing that, because again, most of my magic happens through the aura. I think for the last few years, one of my main transformations has been to take the attention from out here and more into my own field and just learn that everything passes through here, So I need to start there.
So shamanism, does it mean that you also have your own shaman that you learn from?
Yeah, my first coach, she's a shaman. I still work with her actually to this day, well, 3.5 years later. I'm also certified in shamanic kundalini, which is a form of kundalini activation, but with shamanic tools. And so I had a teacher in there as well. And I'm going to start now in July with a school called the Four Winds, which is a very deep shamanic education, like a 1 year education, where we learn to really go into the chakras, remove like entities, all this kind of stuff. Super powerful.
How do you learn this? Do you just watch videos online, or do you actually get together and do some kind of physical practices?
There's like video course, yeah. And then, of course, there's the group calls and all of this stuff. But I think with shamanism specifically, I don't think everyone necessarily can learn it because I think shamanism chooses you. That's what it felt to me. I was never into shamanism.
It shows you.
Yeah, it absolutely did. Like it just fell into my life and then it's been a natural. But also because to do shamanic work, you have to go through initiations in your life that are very difficult. There's no joke to like just to do that kind of work. The kind of connections I've had to have with like demons, energetic entities, even in my own field have been so like one of the most difficult things I've ever had to go through, but has also taught me what actually most people go through in the world, and have no awareness around. So I love it. It's like insane. And for a projector, I think it's perfect because we're just so good at this deep energy work, but definitely not for the faint of heart, let's say.
It's a lot of talk stuff as well.
A lot of it, yeah. And it's here, whether we want to see it or not. But in shamanism, you have to see it right in the face. Like it's like the demons will be sent your way so that you can learn to actually work with that.
You end up become friends with the demons, or you just learn from them, or you fight them, or
Yeah, how to say that? It's more learn to take that power back so that they cannot affect you because they're there everywhere. But when you are ignorant to it, you also don't protect yourself. You know what I mean? How to say it's like, okay, imagine there's a virus everywhere and you just like, whatever, you go out in your t-shirt and you're just like sleeping 3 hours at night and eating junk food. So your immune system is low. You're way more susceptible to catch the virus because maybe you're thinking, no, it's not there. It doesn't exist. So it's not about being scared, but it's just about understanding, okay, here are the things I can do, the precautions, and here's like the ginger tea I can drink, and here's like the things I can do to take care of myself. And once you start to claim that power, it's like suddenly it's not scary anymore. But for most people, it's scary because it's unknown and feels like it's more powerful than us. But in fact, it's not. And it's never been. Humans are always the most powerful ones. That's why most demons are parasitic by nature because they have to actually feed on the energy. They have nothing themselves. Okay, we're going down the rabbit hole now.
So, so you actually feed the demons your energy because they don't have their own.
Yeah, they feed up with yours. Yeah.
So it's always about actually working on yourself.
Yeah, always. You're the powerful one. Every human is the powerful one. Always, always, always.
And human design would be one of the doors that helps you tap into your power and energy.
It can help.
Yeah, it can help.
It really can. And especially for projectors, I think we're the ones that are most susceptible to these energies because our aura has no protection. I don't know, but I would assume that a manifestor is more protected. Similar as your aura is closed, so there's no access. My aura is like, hello everyone, come in and have a party. Yeah. Especially if I don't take care of myself. And then there's the generators and manifesting generators, they also are more susceptible.
I don't think they have this open and developing aura that's kind of inviting everybody in. I guess the demons and all the angels and everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's why I love the closed door actually that I had. At some point I was like, oh, repulsive, really? But I was like, okay, it makes sense. There are like some people that I don't want to let into my life.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm good with this. Although it can feel isolating at times.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's for my own protection.
Yeah. I think sometimes, the manifestors are clever because it's like sometimes, of course, I would never want to change my design. Sometimes I'm like, oh, nice. Because when I go into anywhere, it's like everything. I feel everything. Or it comes in. And yeah, it's powerful. I also heard from manifestors, it's because you're actually really soft inside.
Yeah, that's why you're protecting. I've heard that we are like very sensitive inside. I'm like, oh, actually, yeah. It's like, many places where you can, from the outside, it's like, oh my God, these are tough ones. They can bend and da 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 da. They don't fear anything, but actually inside, it's like, oh my God, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, I know. But I'm like, okay, I'm scared, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, I know. That's why a manifestor decides. And when they let someone in, there's not that repelling aura anymore,
Yeah.
like that. And then you really get to see, like, the manifestor friends I have are just some of actually the softest people I know.
When you're in, you're in. Yeah. When you're out, you're like, out. Like, listen. Yeah. Yeah. Once it's open, it's kind of like you're inside the castle walls. That's how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, in addition to human design, I know there's this kind of like sibling, sister, cousin, whatever, jinkies that has some things in common. And this can also help people find their purpose and transform into the purpose. I know that you're also very passionate about jinkies.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the tools that I use. Human design and gene keys is one of my pillars in APA, but it's like they make a part of it, but they're just a part of the whole, really. So I still think when people, if they want to activate their purpose, I honestly think like APA is the best place you could ever go. And I'm not saying that just because I created it. Like, obviously I'm in love with it because they created it. But human design and gene keys is again just like actually a little pillar of that. And when you combine that with the shamanism, which is another pillar of my work, really clearing those blocks from the system, with the purification of the 4 different bodies and with the trauma healing, like that's when you take what human design and gene keys is. Sometimes it can become an intellectual thing for people. And then it's like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and I have this gene key and that. Okay, but you're all here. Are you actually embodying any of it? Or are you still just living out those old traumas, So that's where I feel like what I did in APA is like take that powerful work and allow for people to embody it because the embodiment is what really creates the change in your reality. But yeah, gene keys are just an amazing way to take the intellectual understanding and then you can learn to work it through the body and super powerful. Like I love. Sometimes I even feel maybe I find gene keys more genius than human design. There's something about it that's just like, damn, like I don't know, it's so poetic in such an incredible way. I don't know. Have you looked into a little bit? Yeah. Do you resonate with any of it?
Some of it, yeah. But I haven't gone very deep because there's a lot. There's the shadow side, the city, and the middle part. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. There is a lot. And like human design, you can study it forever. Actually leads me back to also one of the reasons why I think I got so deep into human design and Gene Keys very quick was because I saw that, wow, I started actually to naturally, especially in Gene Keys, embody some of these things without having the intellectual understanding of them. And that's when I started to understand that the process of APA is really powerful because it is that process of embodying that. through, again, the healing, because again, you're born with all of this, and then you just experience these things that put a lot of junk in your system. And so it's really just about removing what's not truly you, and then those gift expressions come to life. Perfect. This is already inside you. It's already in your design. You only have to unlock chinkies. It's like, you have the keys to unlock all the gifts. Yeah, basically. Yeah, exactly. Like it's already there. And all we need to focus on is just removing what's not truly us.
Did you find anything surprising from your human design or your Gene Keys profile when you first looked at it? It's like, oh my God, I would never have guessed that I am this.
Being a projector, like I mentioned before, for sure. But then now it's like, oh, of course, that makes sense. But like on a conscious level, I was like, what is this? So consciously, I was more aware of it. I think like for most people, when I started to dive into it, I was like, yeah, that's actually how I'm feeling. Yeah,
Yeah,
that kind of makes
that has been my experience. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. This explains a lot. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I know. Ah, wow, yeah. I have all that kind of reactions now, but I'm like going into my, sequencing genius or looking at my human design stuff. I'm like, there are so many things to learn. It's like never ending.
Yes, is amazing. I think it really is a way of bringing the subconscious into the conscious, and that's why it feels like I kind of knew this, but at a deep back way, like way back here in my head, Now suddenly we take it here, and it's like, wow, that makes sense.
Yeah. At some point, I thought, oh, yeah, I already know quite a lot. I said, oh, and there are also transits, and actually, it's changing every 6 days. I'm like, what? 6 practicals. So that is kind of like all these different gates, channels, things activating that they don't have, maybe, usually. Like then there's like somewhere the transit happen, so every 6 days, and it's like a different one. The planets are like messing up with, I don't know, the planets are messing up with like maybe kind of, or making it more interesting.
Let's blame it on the planets.
Yeah, yeah. It is a lot about the planets, and there are some things that I don't understand yet. To say, oh yeah, okay, your Mars or Venus, Uranus, Chiron, all that. I'm like, oh, okay, there are so many details to be learned.
So much, yeah. And it's like just beautiful how we're part of this. We're just like micro expansion of the bigger whole, and everything is so connected. I think one thing that also was quite revelation for me is when I learned about personality and design. This is my human design teacher says that she doesn't believe in this, and it's not like raw oral traditional human design, but some people have split up the personality and the design. So actually, like for instance, I'm a reflector by design. So that means my body is a reflector. And that makes so much sense to me because my body always reacts very strong to the environment I'm in. And I can feel the health of that environment, like through my body. So it was just one of those other things that were like, oh wow, that explains a lot. That I didn't understand why this was happening, and now I see, why this was happening.
I could actually be a projector if I was born when I was supposed to be born. But I was born 3 weeks early.
No.
And so I was like, okay, I need to come out now because I want to be a manifestor. And the funny thing is that just last year, I met this girl. Okay, I knew that she existed. And then she was visiting me here in Barcelona because she's also a bodybuilder. So she had a competition here and she stayed for a few nights. It turned out that she was born on the day when I was supposed to be born.
Oh wow.
So she's like 3 weeks younger than me and she's a projector.
Oh wow.
I was like, oh my God, this is basically like kind of like twin sister somehow. Yeah, like this is so crazy.
Oh, so interesting. Did you feel like you learned something or had some insights?
Yeah, I feel that I don't know her very well right now. And when she was staying with me a few months ago, that was the first time we ever saw each other in real life. We just followed each other on Instagram. And I guess she also felt some kind of connection and she asked me, okay, again, stay at your place when I'm coming to Susanna for the competition. Oh yeah, of course. And we immediately clicked very well. I'm like, whoa, this is like some soul connection. And
Yeah.
I know that it's the same year and just 3 weeks apart. And I was supposed to be born on the day when she was born. Wow, what the hell? It's so crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like meeting my soul sister. Yeah, happens to be, I think it was by one projector.
My mom is a 500.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was like, and I have a projector sister, so there are some projectors on me as well.
Yeah, projectors are really meant to guide the manifestors and stuff like that. Because like, I don't remember if you were at the masterclass.
Yeah, I wasn't the
Yeah, you were the one saying like, oh, manifestors don't react a lot.
without just on the kind of like asking, especially when you ask like yes and no questions that the most default generators I guess. We say, oh yes, no, do. And I might even get irritated. I know that, people mean well. And when a generator asks me, okay, how are you? I'm like, it's not that I don't like the person. I just don't like to respond. I don't like the question. And I don't like all this, wait, how are you doing? What is up? I'm like, immediate reaction. Even if I mentally know that, okay, I like the person. I want to be friends with the person. And then somebody is like asking all these things. I'm like, ugh, no. Yeah, I will inform you whenever I want to inform you and don't ask me how I am.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true. But yeah, and we don't try to respond. We just want to initiate and inform and do our own crazy stuff. And if you allow us, we just tell you everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a throat disactivated.
Yeah, the manifest client I have right now, she's so cute. Like she sends me these huge voice notes, like all the time. And then I did this, and then I did that, and I felt this way, and this, and it's so I can really send her, or is really open to me, and I get to see she's emotional manifestor, like everything that happens in her world, and she's
So I'm emotional and I had the collective wave. So it's like, oh, it's like I can wake up and be like, oh, I'm so sad today. But rationally, nothing is wrong. What the hell is going on? I wake up, oh, I'm super cool. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
It's crazy. These emotional waves.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have those, I guess, because you don't have this emotional.
My mom is emotional, so I know what it feels to amplify. I've grown up with it, but yeah, no, I don't have.
Because people who don't have the emotion are the sort of defined, they feel everybody else's emotions.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people saying, for example, my sister who doesn't have the emotions and the defines is like, but what do you mean? I'm emotional. Come on, what do you mean I'm unemotional? You just amplify other people's emotions. But for me, some kind of storm starts inside me. I can't explain. I can't handle it. Just comes. They said, hey, I just have to live with this day.
Yeah, for me, I feel like the emotional part is like the most mysterious one. I would say, like even though I know how it feels to amplify, it's like I can't quite like put myself fully in the shoes of it, just because I'm so ruthless. I'm like, bam, 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 bam. That's it. And then there's like, and I just in awe sometimes it and just watch my emotional highs. Like, wow, okay, now she's going for this. Like, so wait, let's just let her pass through this. But yeah, it's fascinating. Is it just like nature is so diverse? It's like flowers and leaves and everything. So is humans, and that's why I'm so passionate about humans learning to discover their purpose, their design. So instead of living this kind of fake society that we have, we can actually create one where everyone has their unique place and actually feel happy and fulfilled and is not trying to wear size 36 shoes when they really have a size 40. And I was like, let's just embrace who we are.
Okay, so you're mostly guiding people towards the purpose. So that's the main transformation. Activating your purpose, and then you can, everything else just falls into place. How do you handle these limiting beliefs and some kind of blocks on the way for yourself or your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question because I feel that's actually the core of the path. Because again, it's like everything you desire is there already, especially when we're referring to your desires from your soul. Sometimes we might desire, oh, I want to be super skinny because that's what I see in the magazines. Maybe that's not exactly what your soul needs, but your actual real desires, they're there, they exist. But we can have all of these blocks inside. Maybe the inner child doesn't feel safe. Maybe we have ancestral energy that's really pushing away what we desire. And that's why the majority of what I do in APA is actually just helping to clear that stuff. Because again, we're not trying to add something, it's already there. And we're not trying to create the reality. Really, I'm just opening my clients up to what's already there. That's where you shamanism, trauma healing. I'm also like a certified inner child healer to work a lot with the inner child. Use human design to see where you might have more susceptibility to blocks. So it's again customized path for everyone because everyone has a little bit of a different. But the main themes I've seen is like ancestral clear, ancestral karma clearing is essential for everyone. For myself, it was actually one of the first practices that really transformed my life because we all carry a lot of karma from our lineage because our ancestors didn't do the work. And when they don't, passed on to the next person until someone finally does the work, you know? And that's why it becomes heavier and heavier and heavier with every generation. Many of us also have past life karmic sediments, like something we didn't finish or resolve, or a trauma. Like I had to heal my traumas of how I died in past lives because I was in many lives where I was killed for my gifts. And so I had a lot of traumas around that, and which made me not comfortable with like, I wouldn't have be able to sit and talk about this today if I hadn't done that work. And then people try and start like their spiritual business, but they're so conscious of like, if someone sees me be spiritual, they might try and kill me, and then they wonder like, why am I not being successful? Why is the clients not coming? Well, because you think it's really dangerous and you're subconscious. So this work is so important, and this is what, again, like as a projector, I'm really good at because I can just see you are dealing with this, you're having this experience, so we can clear a little bit of that underworld that everybody has, so that you can just step into the more heavenly perspective.
You kind of have this laser vision when you look at the person.
Yeah, and my experience, because my medicine belt is a lot of, that's what shamanism is really about, is like those clearings, removals, and all of this stuff.
Mostly advice about clearing the blocks and just unlocking what is already inside you.
Yeah.
How long does it take for a person to get to the purpose? Is it okay? You say minimum 3 months? Yeah. What's the usual? Somebody needs maybe 1 year. Somebody can do it in 3 months.
Yeah, it depends on where they come from. Most of my clients work with me 6 months. And I see 6 months, I've not had anyone below 6 months really have a huge breakthrough, like the big life change breakthrough. But around the 6 months mark, a lot of my clients brand. Like then suddenly they just make 15K in 1 month. One of my clients, she used to work an office job. And I think it was, well, actually, it was the fourth or the fifth month. She made like huge deal and made like 20K or something like that.
Wow.
Just through the energy work. And then I remember she told me, now I know it works. That was like the proof for her. And now she's living this 100%. But it depends. Again, I have another client. She was actually alcoholic when she started working with me. I didn't know that. But she told me that APA helped cure alcoholism. She stopped drinking on the third month and she's never had a drop since. And so with her, there was a bit more work because alcohol is a very dense karmically thing to continue to consume. And then I had one client, she already knew her purpose. So within 2 months, she already signed filled up her coaching containers and everything. So it depends a little bit. But I would say if you come from absolutely no knowledge, you should think 3 to 6 months when you have a proper system. If you don't have a system, 10, 20 years.
Okay. Does it mean that all the people you work with or the people that you attract, they will become coaches or they maybe already are coaches? Or so if they are projectors, they're meant to guide. But does it mean that everybody has to be like a coach?
No, absolutely not. I work with jewelry designers as well. I worked with, well, I will say 90% of my clients end up doing some sort of coaching. And it's probably because I find the coaching industry to be an incredible place for us to create something unique from our purpose. It's like we can just from out of nowhere say, I have this thing, I'm doing this thing, why don't you come join me in this thing? Of course, you can also do that making jewelry, clothes, but then you have to have materials, and then so you have to learn how to make clothes and all those kind of things. So coaching is definitely incredible for that. And I don't even think, every time I say coaching, I'm like, this word just does not describe the industry. For me, the coaching industry is more like
Mentoring?
no, not like mentoring. Yeah, I guess it's like
Guiding industry?
guiding in these tribes. They used to have the elders that were the wise ones because they had gone through something. I feel like coaching, when it's really authentic, of course, there are coaches out there who are actually helping people with something that perhaps they don't even know much about. So it's about being discerning also. But when you really come from that place of coaching and what you know about, I feel like one of those wise elders that people come to and like, help me with this area because you know a lot about that. And that's why I'm always working with coaches myself in my own life and the areas that I don't know anything about. Anyway, yeah, did I answer your question? I feel like
80% of the clients are also guided coaches.
yeah, but your life purpose definitely does not have to be only coaching. There's so many things you could do, even within the purpose. When I look at someone's purpose, it's not like, okay, you're absolutely meant to be this. It will give us a framework of like you could do different things within this sort of energy structure. And then it's just about looking at what have you always loved doing during your life. I've always guided people, so it was natural for me.
So in my life purpose tells right angle across the consciousness, guide people to logic. This means I have to be a coach.
No, of course not.
What else?
I would have to see more elements of your chart. I put together everything, your centers as well, your gates and your channels. And honestly, I will be honest, the in connection crosses, I don't remember all of them by heart.
I guess there are like 192 those.
In connection crosses, yeah, no.
When you have no idea. I think the life purpose life thing there was like 192 versions. It's crazy. So yeah, that's a lot.
Oh wow. Yeah, no. But coaching is again great because you can take and create something new, but guide people through logic. You could also be like in a human resource department. You know, if you love some sort of company, usually I will say most people find that they're not really meant to work for someone else. It could also be maybe you just want to start a school.
For some, I can see myself teaching. Or like I can see myself speaking on big stages and teaching in front of like a big classroom. But I don't want to hold hands on one for a long period of time. Just, being kind of separated in my safe, closed aura bubble on the stage and delivering. I also applied to become a university lecturer quite recently. So I was like, oh, this actually calls me. Being in university on the stage, giving my knowledge, and just initiating people into something and then just going away. Like, the bubble is closed. Don't go close.
Yeah, exactly. Or like writing a book, or there's so many different ways we can do it. I like coaching a lot because it's a way to start a movement that can lead to other things. So now, for instance, what I'm doing with Alpha is like now I'm doing the Alpha certification. So I'm actually teaching others how to activate life purpose. I'm doing a retreat. One day I actually have written a few books, but they're just there. Maybe I will publish a book, but it all starts from that experience I generated from helping people.
Oh, you have also done a lot of things.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was manifesting too.
But books need to come out, If you already wrote them, just let them be out there.
I wait for the right timing. Yeah.
I leave it Asian.
Yeah, it's there.
I books out.
So yeah, let's see, let's see. It's really cute, one of the books. It's like how to communicate with the angels. I was like how to connect with the angel guides, but actually it's like basically the process of Appa. So it's the same thing, and that's just the same thing over and over. Yeah.
Wow. I don't like just keep it down.
Yeah. As a rejector, I have a lot of magic. Yeah, and if I accept the invitation,
So you don't have to accept all the invitations.
oh no, no, absolutely you shouldn't. What I teach my projectors is you need to. Best thing we can do is like we need to treat ourselves like VIP. So it's like someone invites you, they will be very lucky if you accept it. You know? Because we really, again, we have not unlimited energy. In fact, our energy is so like even from this conversation, you might get things that are transformative for you, and afterwards you're like, wow, this it's really powerful. And so it's very important for projectors to learn to distinguish, and that's where we use our force in what we want to say yes to or not. And for a projector is abundance matters. Every time we say no, our aura just cramp, like more abundance comes into our life. So I love playing with the no.
So that means next one.
Yeah, or even better, not quite that. So also when we get a really good invitation, best things to be like, I'll think about it. Let me see. Me as a splenic, sometimes I'm like, yeah, like that feels good, and then I'll just go on it. But I've noticed that sometimes some of the best invitations were the ones where I was like, actually not really. I was a bit like, I don't know if I can be bothered, you know. And then I was like, okay, yeah, let's just do it. And because I was not like, "Ah, I want something or let me be seen, it was very much more natural, so to say.
Okay. So you really have to listen to your own algorithm, which for you is the spleen.
Yeah.
Also, good project will also be emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50% of projectors are emotional.
I guess 50% of people are emotional.
Yeah. And the same with rejection. Yeah.
Yeah. The splenic, emotional, mental, self-projected.
Eagle. Projectors are the ones with the most worries. Yeah. emotional splenic, growth, self-projected, no,
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So once people have found the purpose, how do they activate it in their life? How do they step into action? Does it happen just automatically?
not necessarily. I mean, as a projector, yeah, you will start to get invitations. So that happens because life responds to your aura. That's why also inside of Papa, what I do is I teach an actual business strategy so that my clients can take, okay, now I have this awareness. How am I going to bridge the gap between my internal self and the world? This I found to be super important because it's not always easy to take what we know is our purpose and to actually make something tangible from it, and even more so to actually make money from it. This is where it's difficult for a lot of people. And that's the lock that I unlocked when I started APA. And I want others to have this because it's insanely liberating when you don't have to spend your time and energy in doing something you don't want to do and work for someone else. In fact, that's when I feel like life, like your soul growth really takes off because you get to dedicate yourself to what you're meant to. Learning to charge for what you're really meant to do is also a big process of seeing your worth and your value and the gift you have to bring to the world. Plus, the world needs these things. It will make the world, it's a win-win-win for everyone. So absolutely it's an important part of it. I'm not just activating people's purpose, and it's like really the strategy is like the icing on the cake that makes everything like. So there's this kind of spiritual part, energy work, healing, and then say, okay, actual business strategy. Yeah, very practical stuff as well. Yeah. Practical, absolutely, but still with that touch of like it's life purpose business strategy. So it's never going to be like a regular business strategy because a lot of businesses nowadays are all about growth, 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 more money, more revenue. And that's why we see companies putting chemicals in foods that will get addicted, will buy more. It's unethical, right? But what I like to add to the equation is divine service. So yeah, we can still be focused on growth, but never at the cost of divine service. And that's actually what runs the business strategy of what I do. That's also what makes it so much more like for me fun because when you're devoted to service and your purpose, you just meet the right people, the right places, the opportunities come. Like you've also experienced being invited to do talks at certain events and all these kind of things. I feel like what I'm doing with the business strategy is also rewriting the current economy and the business model that we have and changing it more to a connection with the trust of life.
It's also more focused on you, like the person, not just the money that they're making.
And yeah, it's focused on, well, the gift that we have to give to the world.
So if people want to work with you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I am Angel Celia. That's where, I mean, if you want to see what I do in a day-to-day life, I post every day in there because I love sharing with my community. I also have free masterclasses that are created for almost every single human design type. So I always encourage people just to reach out to me on Instagram and tell me their human design, and then I'll send them the masterclasses. And for the people that are interested in joining APA, I have also APA for different human design types. Again, because we work differently. So I have APA for projectors, obviously, is like the core of everything. I just started APA for manifestors recently as well. And I have for my defined sacrals, which is the APA course. So people can reach out to me. And there is, because I'm a projector, I unfortunately can't work with everyone and like just have unlimited people coming in, but I try and help in the ways that I can, respecting my energy. So if it feels like a good match, people will have a little call together or, I'll send some information. And if not, I have the freebies so that people always can get some value in one way or another. And if they're in Barcelona, I do a retreat. I'm going to do a retreat in September called Sacred Play, where we will do a lot of shamanic work. So that one will be amazing it's women's only. Be amazing for the women that are like, I have some blocks, I need to move this. Because the in-person work, and we're gonna do it in a shamanic ground, like that's been blessed by shamans. So it's like I can't do it. It's gonna be amazing. And then sometimes I do women's circles. So yeah, not so some full moon stuff. Yeah, the women's circles are yeah, there's always something happening. I'm just following record. Instagram is the place if you want to know what I'm.
Okay, what do you want to break now?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so Instagram. Of course, I will put the link in the show notes and people can just find you.
Amazing. For those who just want to learn a little bit more about life purpose, perhaps I'll give you the link to my masterclass. If it's free, they can just click it below. and then they can see, oh, what does this mean? What can I do to my life?
Amazing. Thank you so much. It was amazing to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And